So regular expression is a very powerful concept, as in basically it's used in not just tickle. You may find it in a lot of languages. You may find it in Perl. It's used in web browsing. So regular expression is a concept you should understand regardless, as in whether you're working in software, VLSI, it applies to a lot of places. Okay. So what we'll do is uh, there are multiple regular expression patterns. Now we'll start with basic thing in tickle, and then we'll use that to do further things. Okay. So the basic command we'll be using will be regexp command. Okay. So regexp command is used to match something, try to find something in a string. Okay, that thing is clear, right? So when I say a, and let's say we'll create a variable, or let's say we will not create a variable. So what I am asking this to do is regular expression, try to match this pattern. First thing is pattern in a tickle string. Okay, so let me give that string as this. So what it will do is it will try to match a pattern. In this case, pattern is just a, nothing else. It's just a letter in this string. Okay, so if this pattern, which is just the letter a, exists in this string, it will return 1. Otherwise it will return 0. Okay, so it's clear so far. Any question? Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we can. It's clear so far.
Yeah. So what do you think would be the result of this? Would it be, so if the pattern matches, the output is 1. If the pattern does not match, output is 0. So if that is the case, you think we will get 1 or we will get 0?
One question.
Zero.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
Amit.
like I want to ask in TCL, if we have a true case, then it will return one, and or one, or it will return zero.
For true case, it will return 1.
And
So in
for
this
false
case,
case,
it will return 0, which, so basically this pattern did not match. So it returned 0. Okay. Now let us see. What I will ask it to do is I will ask it to search a pattern. I am saying search a pattern which is still just a string u. It will try to find u, whether a u matches in this string or not. And the answer I've got is 1, because u matches in this string. Okay. So the basic pattern is any letter. Okay. So whatever pattern you want to match, basic pattern is just a letter. Okay. Now, let me give you one example. Okay, so let's say I can see, okay, whether in this string AB pattern exists or not. AB pattern means A and then B. So of course the output of this will be 0 because AB does not exist. And I will search another pattern, try to find MU in this string. So it will try to find MU anywhere in this string. It can be beginning, end, anywhere. Okay. Now the output of this will be, oops, sorry, I missed it. Yeah. Try to find MU in this string. The output is 1 because it is able to find MU here. Let me try to search for something else. Let's say UX in this. The output will be 1 because it is able to find UX in this. So that's a basic regular expression that whatever string you want to search in a string, another string, if you can search, if it matches, it will return 1, and if not does not match, it will return 0. Okay. So now, for example, let's say I am parsing a timing report. Okay. So timing report will have a keyword known as start point. So what I want to check is whether start point matches let's say, okay, so whether this matches this. So whether this line is gives information about start point, if this if this start point matches in this line, which is the case, then it will return 1. So in this case, it matches. Or let's say, and this will not match and will return 0. So now using this regular expression, I can write if loops, right? If regexp mu mux, if this matches, these can be variables. Like for example, this can be a variable. If this matches, that means it's 1, do something, else do something, something like that kind of codes I can create. Okay, so far clear? Any questions so far?
No, it's clear, Vikas.
Okay, so now, but this is a basic thing, right? Regular expression can be used to match much more things than this. Okay, now for example, I want to check that I want to match any character. Okay, so the first keyword or first symbol is dot. Dot means match anything. Okay, it can match anything. So for example, I want to check whether in a string there is letter M followed by another letter. That letter can be anything, but M has to be followed by another letter. Okay, so this means there is M, and after M any letter can come. So M something should have be there in the design or in the string. Okay, so for example, if I give it this, what do you think? Will the result will be 1 or 0?
0.
Yeah, so it will match M, but after M there is nothing. The expression expects that after M something should come. It can be any character, but at one character should come. So the output of this is 0 because it is able to find M but nothing after it. For example, well, if the string was M dot, but it's matching LNU. Now it is able to find M and also a character after that. It can be any character. It will match and it will result 1. So this dot matches any character. Okay, so this dot matches anything. It matches any character. Okay, now similarly, backslash D matches any digit. It will match anything 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, any digit. It will not match A, B, C, but it will match any digit, any number. Okay, so let's see that. Oops. So I want to check that if there is a number in the string. Let's first take this again. Whether this number, there is any number in a string. So what do you think will be the output of this? Backslash D is matching a digit. So the output
1.
of this, it is
1.
it is coming out to be 0. Why is that? Okay. So whenever you have to use backslashes, there are two ways to do that. Either you use curly braces, okay, or if you're using quotes, you have to use it 2 times because quote will expand 1 and keep 1. Okay, so whenever you're using backslashes, either you use curly braces or in tickle you use, if you're using quotes, then you have to use it 2 times. because quote will expand what is inside this. So first backslash and second backslash will make one backslash. It will expand it and then put D. So in tickle, this is specific to tickle, that if you're using backspace characters, if you with curly braces, you have to use only one time. With basically quotes, you have to use it two times. Okay, so let's try this on another. You think it will match or not match?
No.
Oops, I did a typo. Okay, so it did not match. It did not match. Okay, so that is how you do it. So backslash D stands for digit. Similarly, backslash capital D stands for non-digit. What does it stand for? Non-digit. Nothing. Okay, no digit. So let us see that. We will use curly braces, backslash D, LU. It matches because it is non-digit. It is able to find non-digit. Now let us say backslash D 456. It cannot find any non-digit, so it's matched. Now a trick question for you. Okay, so what will be the result of this? It will be 1 or 0. What do you think? Okay, let me go one by
One.
one.
It should be one.
I
It
think it
should.
should be one because maybe it will treat it as a string.
So it can find that any. So it will try to find this pattern anywhere. Okay. So is this means non-digit? So is there a non-digit character in this? Of course there is. P is there. So it will say 1 because it's able to find a non-digit character in this. Okay. Now let's see. Okay. So now another thing I will say is you can also use something like this, A to Z. What does this mean is match anything from A to Z, which is like this, same as a character, right? So match anything from A to Z. This means match anything from A to Z. You can also use like match anything from A to E. So it will match till E only. So the output of this will be 0 because A to E does not exist. Okay. Now, then there are other characters like you want to match new line, you want to match space, you want to match tab, those kind of things. Okay. So now there are certain other kind of symbols which I'll talk about. One important symbol is caret. Okay, just above 6 in your keyboard, caret, and the other is dollar. Okay, so these are two important symbols. Caret means match at the beginning of the string. So if I say caret A, that means, so far we were saying, okay, match anywhere. Once we give caret, it will try to match at the beginning of the string. Okay, so let's say this. So there is A here, but it is not at the beginning of the string. And we are saying caret A means match at the beginning of the string. So this will return 0. Why did it return 0? Because we are given now caret. Means beginning of the string and then A. So that means first letter of the string should be A. So let us do this caret A and say this. Now it will match because A is at the beginning of the string. So now if I give you a string and say, can you write a tickle to test whether beginning of the string is A or not? You can, of course, now write that tickle. So for example, test.tickle, I can say set test where, let's say ABC, and I can say if regexp check whether beginning is A or not of that variable, and if it's beginning with A, say print puts yes, else you put no. So this is how you can use regular expressions to create sophisticated code. This is still simple code, but you can test, okay, whether my variable test where has A at the beginning of the string or not. Okay, you can use that. So for example, let's go to your lab example. Okay, so lab, which is there. Now, in a list, find all elements starting with a numeric and store it in a new list. Okay, so basically you know how to find now a string started with a numeric. How do you test that? So now you want to check whether a string is starting from a numeric or not, or a number or not. You can very easily test this by caret means beginning and backslash d means number, right? So if I give it ABC, it will say 0, but if I give it will say 1. Okay? So do you understand how these regular expressions can be useful to do some pattern matching and testing on string? And this is how you can start working on your labs. Okay? Any question?
In the chat box, I mentioned a query.
Okay, let me check that. 0 to 9, 1 AB, is it correct? Yes, this is correct.
But it is not working, I guess.
It is not working. Let us check. So let go XP. This is your string. It is matching. You want beginning?
Okay.
So let us see in your query. Yeah,
Yeah. It's
it is
okay.
working. It will work that way as well. Okay.
Yeah.
So let us then. So we understood what is caret. Now dollar means at the end of the line. Okay. So if I want to match something at the end of the line, for example, I want to say, okay, it should end with a digit at the end of the line. Okay. So basically what I'm saying is at the end of the line, there should be a digit. So this is at the end, this is digit and then end of the line. So let's say this will not match because it's not a digit at the end of the line. What about this will match because there is a digit at the end of the line. So you're giving a digit that my character should be digit and then end of the line. Digit can also be specified as you using this 0 to 9. Okay, so digit can also be specified like this 0 to 9. So at the end of the line, there should be digit. So it's matching. Okay. So caret and dollar are two other keywords. One thing you need to keep in mind when you're using dollar, okay, when you use it in quotes, it will think of this as a command and it will error out. Okay. See, it says invalid command. So either you use curly braces like I used here, or you add a backslash. Okay. Either you use curly braces, then it will not try to expand it. You remember, right? There is a difference between curly braces and quotes. Whatever is inside the quotes, it tries to evaluate. And since for tickle square bracket means command, it tries to think, it thinks it's a command. In order for it to not think it is a command, we add a backslash, and then basically it does not execute that. Or you can use curly braces. Okay, now other important point is, okay, matching is star, plus, and question mark. These are special characters. Okay, so star means match any number of times. Okay, same thing which is previously, match any number of times. Okay, so for what is the meaning of that? For example, I want to check a star. Okay, that means it should match a, and then any number of times a. It can be 0 also, it can be 1 also, it can be any number of times. Okay, so match, it should have, for example, I want to say the sentence begins with V. Okay, this means it begins with V. Then there can be any number of A's, and then it ends with S. Okay, there can be any number of A's, and then it ends with S. But so let's say this. Okay, so it starts with V. Will it match this? So what I'm saying is sentence should, or string should begin with V, then it should have A, any number of A, 0, 1, 2, any number of A, and then it should have S, and whether we can find dash pattern in this. There is no pattern like this, but let's change the string to should have V, any number of A's, then S, so it will match. Now if you think of this, it will match this. It will find, oops, I did a typo. So V, beginning with V, A, any number of times A, so it matched. That's why it returned 1. So let's see multiple permutations of this. What else can it match? V, A, star, S. Will it match this? It returned 1. So any number of time A can be there. A can even be 0. V, A star, S. What did it return? V. So basically this means the string should start with V, then any number of times A, and then S. That will, it will match. So that is star. Star matches the previous character any number of times. Okay, so I can just say V, and rather than A star, I say dot star and then S. What does this mean? That the sentence starts with V, then any character any number of times, and then S. Okay, so now it will match this also, because what I'm saying is V, then any character any number of times. So IKAS, it will match this. Or I can have think of v dot star as, and after this I can have anything because this according to pattern string does not end here. I'm not using dollar, so it will also match this. Okay, so this is our star.
You weren't using dollar in the previous cases as well, so they
Yeah,
can also end with any character, right?
yeah, it can have any character after this. If we
Okay.
use dollar, then it says okay, basically last character has to be s.
After S, we have to write the dollar.
Yes, so
Okay.
after s, yeah, here like this, right? Now we saw star. Now what else is plus? So star matches any number of times. Plus, it can be zero to any number of times. Plus matches at least one. So it starts from one. Okay, so let's take this example. So you're taking this VA. Now we'll use plus S. Oops. Mm, Sorry. Okay. So we'll use this plus S. So it will match this, of course, because at least one A is there. So at least one A has, this means at least one A, but any number of times. So now this will not match this. So star could mean zero also, but plus means at least one. The only difference between star and plus is at least one should be there. Okay.
Yes, it's clear.
Okay. Then there is question mark. Question mark means zero or one. Okay. Just two, zero or one. So let's use now question mark. So we say zero question mark, and let's say this. It will match this because there is one time. Now this also it will match because it is zero. Now okay, this it does not match because it question mark means that means a either zero or one, only then it will match. If it is more than that, it will not match. So plus means one or greater. So one or greater. Star means zero or greater. Question mark means zero or one. Zero and one. Okay. Now these are this number. You can also give direct number these many times. Like for example, here it is not there. Okay. Now, so these are some basic examples of regular expression. Of course, there are much more things you can do. Like for example, you can say if you use it like this means exactly m time it will match, or m to n time it will match. So you can also use that. That is little bit advanced, but basic regular expressions I have covered. Okay, and then of course you can learn as much as you want, and this will be useful in a lot of places. Like for example, I used it on a Vim lot. For example, let's say I want to delete all the lines where I'm using put command. So I use it a lot. Okay. Uh, okay. Any questions on this?
Because I want to ask, is there any command like help or in like in Unix we have help and man
Man,
command?
There is a web page where you can try out regular expressions. I will send you that, but I'm not sure there is help command for regular expressions. But let me try to find if there is. But There is a web page where you can try out regular expressions, but I don't think there is help. Best way, since you are working on tickle, is to try out on tickle here. Okay.
No, I mean in general, do we have command like that in tickle also?
Which command?
Like we have help and man command in Unix.
Let me check. I have not. Mhm. There is no. I don't think there is. Just a minute. Something called tickle tutor. No. At least I am not aware of it. Okay. Uh, I am not aware of it. Yeah, I'm not aware of it, whether there is help command for tickle.
Oh, okay, no problem.
Okay. Okay, so this covers high level our regular expressions. So what we'll do is we'll keep tomorrow's session, full session for lab, for you to complete the labs. And I will send tomorrow, then we'll not have the morning session. I'll give you time to complete the labs. Please, but you please have to submit the labs tomorrow. Okay, all the exercises. And then day after tomorrow, we'll continue with the next session. Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
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 Vikas, I have two doubts from the
Mhm.
video. Can I ask?
Yeah, yeah. Mhm.
Uh, uh, in the video, you explained about EOF, end of file,
Mhm.
and it's written as EOF dollar file ID,
Mhm.
and it returns 1 if we are at the end of file and else 0. I mean, what
Mhm.
is meant by end of file? Who is at the end of file? The cursor or
Cursor. So if you go cursor one by one, when the cursor reaches, you're reading line by line. When the
Mhm.
cursor reaches end of file, then yeah, cursor is at the end of the file.
Oh, okay. Another doubt is that environment variables part. Jyoti asked about it in the morning session, but I didn't
Mhm.
listen it very carefully because I wasn't at that point in the video. But when I watched it, I couldn't understand that part.
Okay, so basically, right, when you have tickle shell,
Yeah.
okay, so tickle, like basically any shell has environment variables, right? So this shell has these environment variables like what is my color term, what is my session, what is my log name, what is my PWD, all these variables are there, right?
Okay.
Now, when I go to tickle shell, I want to, let's say I want to access those variables, which are environment variable. Okay.
Okay.
So tickle creates an array to access those variables. Okay. So for example, I want to access an environment variable, which is path. So tickle has created this array, which is env, and then path is the name of the variable. This way I can access that Unix shell or Linux shell environment variable in tickle shell or in tickle script.
Okay.
Okay. So the name of the variable is path, and this is I'm access and I'm telling, okay, this is an environment variable that I'm accessing. For example, let's say I created an environment variable, let's say Vikas and
Mm.
equal to 1. Okay. Oops. This I think which shell is it? Okay. So okay, I'm not sure the shell is this, so I'm not sure it will work, but let me give it. Okay, now this is not created. So anyway, so let's see this. These are the variables which are already created in this shell. That, for example, path is this variable.
Mm.
Okay. Now, when I go into tickle shell,
We can access it.
yeah,
Use it
we can
this.
access it uh, using the array env and which is created and then the name of the variable.
Oh,
Okay. So
yes,
this is
it's
what I
clear.
meant by environment variable.
Thanks. Yeah.
Do you have any other question?
No.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
yeah, I have one question that how can we take input from user in this tickle.
In this, yeah. So for tickle script, if you want to take input from the user, there is a variable known as argv. I am not sure this is covered in video. I think it would have been covered, but let me just show you. Okay, which is known as argv and tickle. Tickle automatically creates a variable known as argv. These are user arguments. Okay, so let me show you how it works. Okay,
Okay.
so let me just put this just print this variable for now. Okay, so okay, so let's say I give some input. Okay, let's say one, Vikas, two. So there are three inputs, one, Vikas, and two. So it's just printing those input. It creates a list, which is this argv, and prints that output. So argv is the variable which contains input from the user side. Okay,
Okay. And it could be either one, two, three element.
it can be, yeah, anyone.
Okay.
It creates a list. For example, you can go over this. For example, let's say, let me give you a, let's say you want to create a script like this. Okay, let's say give name and number. Okay, so it will give exactly same values. Now what I can do is I can create a tickle procedure. Okay, so I'm creating on it on the fly for each, let's say x and y dollar rb. Okay, if xp name dollar x, that means it's a name. So put name is dollar y. So okay, so it creates this list which one can do for each loop. So let's see how this works. So it says name, sorry, name is Vikas. Okay, so let me run this. So it says name, I give this as an input. Name is Vikas, number is 1. So what it is doing is I gave, it is going over this argv. Argv is nothing but this value, hyphen name, whatever input I have given here. Now it is doing for each. For each means two variables. It is taking two variables in for each. So first it will take x as name and y as Vikas. Then it will take x as number and y as 1. Okay, so it is taking variables two by two. If x matches name, I am just printing name is y. If x matches number is string, it is putting number is y. So basically all the inputs are created in list, in the list argv, and you can do any operation you want to do, regular expression, whatever, splitting, whatever you want to do. It's